Magandang gabi mga kababayan at welcome sa Ang Pinoy Live. It's Tuesday, dahil Tuesday po, it's EntrePinoy night. At ngayong araw na to, we made sure that we will have her dito sa live. Bakit? When we've actually shown yung video nung sa Indang feature, may mga nag-message po sa akin. At may mga tinatanong sila. So sabi ko, invite na lang namin para masiguradong she can answer all probably the questions that we have in mind at yung iba pa na gusto ring pumunta sa lugar nila. And first time po na magkakaroon tayo ng guest na ang pag-uusapan natin ay isang hideaway place or an open area or an events venue. Normally po ang negosyong pinag-uusapan natin ay either may produkto or yung iba naman ay serbisyo. Ito po ay kakaiba. So hindi ko na patatagalin pa. Our guest for tonight is actually, she's the park and marketing manager of their family business called Driftwood Action Park. So please all welcome Miss Kamilla Sumagui. Hi, Kamilla.
Hi, so happy to be here.
And thank you for saying yes. Alam mo, sabi nga niya, talagang mukhang drum beater daw siya kasi talagang mukhang galing ka sa park, no?
Actually, galing po sa first anniversary ng restaurant ng cousin ko. Medyo kami, nasa line of businesses kami yung family namin. Yes.
Oh, ang galing. Ang galing. So, ayan, Kamilla, sabi ko sa'yo kanina, sabi ko ang intro ko, actually may picture din ako nilabas sa personal ko na Facebook.
Yes.
So, nilalagay ko sa story and then I got several messages from friends. Mm-hmm. So, ang tanong nila, may mga tanong sila, pero bago ko ipakita yung tanong, papakita lang natin, sabi ko, may isa akong footage na gustong ipakita sa lahat.
Yun.
Just for them to have an idea kung ano nga ba yung lugar nyo.
Yes, sige po.
Oo. Pero habang binubuksan ko siya, maybe we can share. Una, kailan nyo inopen yung Driftwood Action Park?
Okay, so Driftwoods Action Park, actually nagsimula po siya with the name Driftwood Sports Park. Initially, yung idea niya is to become one of the go-to venues for sporting activities. So, but then we strived for maybe 4 years, and then eventually, yun nga tinaman po ng pandemic, everyone had to struggle. Pero somehow, instead of struggling, we found a way to prosper. Kasi from there, nakita namin yung need ng market na magkaroon ng place where they could just be outside and just to breathe fresh air. Kasi instead of just being in the closed spaces where you feel like it's unsafe, where you feel like the virus is circulating inside a room, people feel like it is more important to be outdoors. So we catered to that need, and then eventually nag-change kami din ng name of Driftwoods Action Park kasi it feels more dynamic to just name Action Park instead of just Sports Park, kasi when you say Sports Park, it becomes a little restricting dun sa mga possibilities na pwedeng gawin with the park. So yun, actually action can be anything, right? So anything from running, just going around and doing activities. So yun, kaya mas dynamic siya as Action Park.
Oo nga eh. Ito, sana, where is it? Medyo ayaw, ayan. Actually, tama ka kasi very timely, no? Hindi ko, nung pinuntahan ko kayo, di ba nilagay natin sa Indang, hindi ko na-realize na yung market mo is yung hinahanap talaga ngayon ng mga iba. Doon pinag-usapan natin yan.
Yes.
Pero ang unang tanong sa akin ng isa, sabi niya, Jace, can I bring my parents? Kasi, alam mo naman, senior.
Yes.
So, parang oo. So, ang tanong niyan, pwede ba nilang dalhin yung senior? May restriction ba? Ano ba? Paano ba?
So, according to the newer restrictions, kasi I think for the past 2 or 3 days, nag-transition tayo from being quarantined named regions into just being alert level. So, noong una, I think NCR lang po yung name na may alert levels, and then people were asking me, my friends from Manila were asking me, ano alert level nyo? Hindi ko alam kung ano yung alert level, and then suddenly naging alert levels na rin si Cavite, tapos din put Cavite into level 3. And ang nakalagay kasi doon, kasi pag nag-accept po ng guests, kapag pwede po mag-accept ng guest basta fully vaccinated po yung senior. So,
Ah.
when it comes to the senior, so yun po yung ano ko. Basta actually hindi naman ang nakalagay naman po actually yung ginawang differentiation ng IATF is pag indoors yung facility, like kunyari a restaurant that is closed or is indoors, they can only accept fully vaccinated individuals. So the beauty of having an outdoor recreational facility means even the unvaccinated can be welcome kasi it's less risky to be in the outdoors rather than being with someone who's unvaccinated and vaccinated. It feels more safe to be outdoors. So parang sobrang beneficial siya in every way. Parang ganun, nakakatuwa. So we're happy na nagkaroon ng ganung progress with the IATF, which bridges more opportunities for outdoor tourist attractions na 50%. So parang 20% more than yung mga indoor facilities.
Actually, oo nga eh. Tapos tama, di ba, yung Cavite, medyo maganda na rin yung kanyang classification ngayon.
Yes.
Oo. So, kanina ulitin ko lang, pwede yung mga seniors, pero ang of course, kailangan fully vaccinated.
Yes. Mas maganda po fully vaccinated sila kasi it's another thing to think about na pupunta sila sa place na possibly there will be other people. So kahit outdoor siya, mas okay kung vaccinated sila. Kahit first dose lang, I think, hindi naman po problem yun. Pero, yun yung pinaka-best precaution for everyone. Kahit sabihin natin, outdoors means okay lang kahit unvaccinated, pero mas okay kung vaccinated ka para you don't have a worry na you might encounter someone who's not protected in that way. Yun.
Ayun. Maganda yung sinabi mo, no? Pero ang susunod na tanong, kasi di ba, yung iba, pupunta sa restaurant, al fresco.
Yes.
Nagre-require pa rin ba kayo ng face shield?
Okay. So, that's a big question for most. I think, pero kasi hindi siya something na tinatanong. I think you're the only person who actually made it a verbal question. Pero, for us, we think of the face shields as, to other people, they are added protection. Pero when you're on the outdoors kasi, it's, contributes to waste. So, kasi kami, ang pet peeve talaga namin sa park, since environmentalist kami, we really don't like waste. So, people tend to put it anywhere they want. So, yung bacteria nakakapit dun sa face shield. So, if anyone touches that face shield, if yung staff namin nalinis yung face shield, they are prone to risks. So, we have a rule dun sa park na even though you pag-check in, it's required to follow protocols, wear face mask and face shield. Okay lang po kahit face mask lang kasi it already has the protection that we need. You have to cover your nose and your mouth. That's why I've so many medical friends. It's enough, 'di ba? Even from abroad. But face shields, okay lang po kahit ano. Kasi mainit din po. Masyado siya mainit sa face when you're in the outdoors. It's maybe applicable sa mga indoor establishments kasi it adds protection for them. Pero sa outdoors po kasi I think it's just attracting more bacteria in that sense.
Saka maganda yung sinabi mo, tama, yung sa bacteria nga. Tapos pag naiwan pa yan, no?
Yes po.
Mas mahirap. Tapos ang isa pang question is for the kids. Do you allow kids? Hindi lang binanggit kung ano yung age, no? Hindi mo nagtanong sa akin. Sabi niya sa akin, Jace, can I bring my kids? So sabi ko, sa tingin ko, but you can message them sa Facebook. Hindi ko alam kung may nag-message sa sa'yo. So ang tanong ngayon, can they bring their kids?
Okay, so with much thought and consideration po for the kids and me just thinking of myself as a kid maybe 20 years ago, di ba? I think the thing that kids need is to be outside and to breathe some fresh air kasi I think kids will be more prone to sickness if they are in a closed space for too long of a time. Like hindi na magde-develop yung immune system nila. I don't have a kid of my own yet, but I have a younger brother who is really, parang kumbaga nakakabawas na anxiety when he's outside, kahit din lang sa labas ng bahay. But if you are in a park, like in all our foreign countries, pinapromote nila yung parks instead of going to the malls. So that's the thing na we want to advocate here sa Philippines na we want to promote families just to be outdoors. And then I think in the NCR, some of the malls, major malls, are actually allowing children dun sa mga alfresco areas, even yung mga parang fountain areas. So I think just being an outdoor facility like us is more welcoming for those kinds of possibilities. Kaya sa amin po, ina-allow po namin yung kids sa park.
Ayan. Oo. So, ang daming tanong. Pasensya ka na, ito yung mga naipon. Okay.
Yes.
Driftwood is actually in Indang.
Yes.
So, kunwari, di ba, medyo yung medyo mababa na yung sa Cavite. But the question is, meron bang mga checkpoint na posible kaming harangin? Kasi some of them will actually come from Manila. Naghahanap talaga sila ng, alam mo yun, fresh air and everything. So, yun ang tanong.
Yes.
So, sabi ko nung pumunta ako doon, wala. Baka meron akong nadaanan. Meron bang mga...
So, for someone like me na who's like you also travels a lot, wala pong checkpoints eh. Like, I think more on these our law enforcement people are stationed in the checkpoints, sa mga entry points, in case there is a need to even flag anyone. I think they flag more people who are riding motorcycles at night. Yun yung observation ko.
Okay.
Yes. Pero wala po during the day. Like, I've been to and from Manila. I went to Pampanga also. Wala po. Kahit sa Pampanga, wala naman po mga
So, safe silang pumunta?
Apo, safe naman po pumunta.
Ang daming tanong kasi yun
Yes.
yung mga ang hirap sagutin. So, sabi ko, mas maganda na alam mo yun, ikaw ang sumagot. Saka, syempre, very timely na magkaroon din tayo ng open park. So, balik ulit tayo pag-usapan, no? Sabi mo nga kanina, it's a family business.
Apo.
Diba? Oo. Tapos yung nagkukwentuhan tayo, when I asked you, when I visited you, ang sabi mo, marami kang plano, no? Pero, paano nyo napag-decide na i-develop yung isang ganong kalaking area? And sabi mo nga, meron pa kayong naka-reserve na gusto nyo pa i-develop.
Okay, I think more on my family, or rather my parents are, I can say, kahit sila yung nasa medyo mainstream sa professional field, like business managers, my dad's a lawyer, you know, those things are very traditional. Pero they are the type of people who are so creative na from the places na we've traveled to in the past sa ibang bansa, and then we realized that there really is a need for a park. Kasi yung essence of just being outdoors and being creative in that way is something that I think the Filipinos really miss out on. Kasi we are so focused really on being comfortable inside malls because of the comfort of the air conditioning. Pero we forget na the nature is actually a way for us na ma-discover din natin yung sarili natin, even kids get to discover themselves even without toys, you know, walang wifi, walang anything, you're kind of disconnected from all the technologies, pero when you are there inside the park, you get to feel like, okay, maybe I can just run around, you know. Even our guests, even from observation, even yung mga parents, sila mismo, they are running around with their kids. Alam niyo yun, parang they went back into being a kid again with their families. Kaya yun yung missing link siguro, and nako-connect siya ngayon ng pandemic. Sobrang relevant niya ngayon.
Oo nga eh. Tinutry ko actually na i-share yung video na binanggit ko sa'yo kanina. Kanina pa ako, failed pa rin ako. So, maya-maya titingnan ko ulit, no? Sige. So, sabi mo, no, actually, kasi ang ganda talaga ng konsepto. My mom saw the video and we visited your place one Sunday afternoon. Pero mukhang punong-puno kayo kasi naka-close yung gate. And I didn't message you kasi yung nanay ko, nung nakita niya yung video ng park, nagulat siya, meron pala sa Cavite ganito. At katulad ng iba, dahil manegosyo din ang pamilya ko, nag-iisip siya ng negosyo una na pwedeng i-partner sa inyo. So sabi ko, teka lang, pag-isipan mo ng maigi, kasi gumana yung utak niya na it's an open area, it's a good opportunity for everyone to visit too. Tapos, di ba nga ngayon, pandemic, no? Nung pinag-uusapan natin, may mga limitations kasi una, may mga guests at saka sabi mo 50% lang yung allowed. Tapos, yung camping, meron kayong camping, you can all do some weddings too. So ngayon, anong nagiging focus ng Driftwood? Na lalo na nandito tayo ngayon sa pandemic.
Okay. So, sa ngayon po, just a bit of a background. I'm not sure if I mentioned to you na prior to being Driftwoods Action Park, we were already a sports venue, and then we hosted a few team buildings, mga group camping, jamborees ng mga schools, mga youth camp, yun. But then, these are large gatherings that are not advisable at this time. But nung nag-start yung pandemic, there was this one family na they were just looking for a place to camp. They had a 1-year-old kid. They had a camper van, yung old L3 na van. Tapos they set up it into like a small home, yung motor home. And then they're like, can we camp here? Sabi nila, pwede ba kami mag-camping dito? Then, kasi yung huli namin napuntahan, sobrang sikip. Sobrang feel namin unsafe kami. Pero, di ba, Miss Jason, sobrang lawak ng lugar.
Super!
Alam mo yun, parang siguro mga 10 bahay yun na yung pwede ilagay doon sa gitnang field lang. So parang understatement lang yung when you say na pwede ba mag-camp dito. Kasi yun na talaga yung essence niya. So I think that's where we got the focus of being a campground na rin. Since we already had the facilities Our parents already had it in their plans na we have to make sure na may restroom doon. We have to make sure na may shower doon. Yun talaga. So those facilities are already there. And nga lang, I think they were waiting for us, their kids, na to eventually realize kung ano ba talaga yung kasunod. But eventually I think God is really just someone who knows how to plan, kaya nakakatuwa. Nagtuloy-tuloy na lang from there, and then from that family, in-invite nila yung cousin nila. 3 days, 2 nights na tayo dito. Kasi nagsunod-sunod na.
Oo. Sinilip ko nga kasi yung mom ko nangungulit. Sabi ko, marami kayong sasakyan. So sa tingin ko kako may nagka-camping. It was like a Sunday, oo. So sabi mo kanina, tama yun, no? Meron kayo talagang, merong area sa may side ng mga puno sa gitna. Di ba, for motorcycle, they can actually do motorcycle activities too. Tapos may ATV areas din kayo sa may side.
Yes.
Oo,
may trails din po.
Oo, so kompletong-kompleto. Ang tanong pa nila, doon na pag-usapan natin ito, yung pagluluto, pag-camping. Kumusta?
Ano po yun? Sorry,
pagluluto, kasi sabi nila, okay, sabi ko kasi may
pagluluto.
CR sila, kompleto. Paano daw yung food?
Yung food, okay. So, for the food, initially, we didn't have a cafe. Kasi yung cafe na abutan nyo that time, it was a weekday, kaya closed siya. Pero, initially, there really wasn't any food. Tapos, within any 5 kilometers from Driftwoods, I don't think you'll be able to buy a decent meal. I think the closest thing na you get to buy is something from a sari-sari store. Kasi talagang probinsya yung Indang. So, although there's nothing wrong with that, medyo malayo lang talaga sadya yung ibang mga restaurants. So, it's not like a walking distance thing. So, eventually, I pitched for my parents na magkaroon ng cafe sa loob ng park. Kasi that's one of the most frequently asked questions. As in, if I were to ask 10 out of 10 guests, they will always ask, can we bring food or is there food there? So, with the hierarchy of needs, food is already part of it. Kaya sabi ko, I think it would be justifiable naman na magkaroon ng cafe. So, yun. Nagkaroon ng cafe.
Open na?
Open na yung cafe Friday to Sunday pa rin. Pero, kumbaga, ngayon accessible na yung food. So, hindi na siya something of a myth na saan kayo tayo bibili doon? Parang hindi naman siya malapit sa 7-Eleven. Alam mo yun? Parang, yun yung pinaka naging another successful venture na nagawa namin.
But can they cook in case? Kasi yan, sa camping, di ba?
Yes, pwede po. Ang concept ng mother ko, parang, usually kasi pag mga park, mga outdoor recreation, they have a cork cage kapag may cafe na dun sa loob. That's a big question, di ba? Like, people ask me, cork cage po ba? Actually, from my mother, sabi niya wala. Kasi, yun na lang yung kaligayahan ng mga campers, yung picnic goers, yung magluto sa labas. So, sabi niya, wag na. Ganun din naman, mag-enjoy lang din naman sila sa place. Parang, mas okay kung ano. And then, what we did was, we equipped ourselves na lang with cooking equipment. So, we have butane stoves for rent, or mga ihawan na may charcoal na. So, kumbaga enabler din kami ng cooking outdoors. Kaya, pwede. Pwede po magluto
Pwede
na.
Ayan, kasi yun yung mga tanong. Pero, ang reco ko nga sa'yo, kung kunwari, yung cafe, kasi mag-cute po yung kanilang cafe area. Actually, sobrang komportable. Bagay na bagay sana ngayong pandemic, no? Sana maging open na rin kayo other than yung Fridays to Sundays nyo.
Yes.
Kasi magiging sobrang ganda po ng lugar nila. Sobrang hangin and everything, no? Siguro ang isa pang tanong, no? Kasi di ba may area kayo for weddings? Yung weddings nyo ba, is it also from Friday lang or to Sunday? Or kung merong gusto mag-rent, it's open anytime or any day?
Okay, so with the question of events, sa ngayon po kasi hindi pa kami nag-accept ng mga events kasi some of them are last minute po mag-inquire. And so we don't really have room to adjust kapag last minute. Pero pag medyo advanced booking po, so far what we have accepted recently was I think more on video shoots eh. Parang there was a part of the media who noticed us as a very good outdoor shoot location. Kaya parang napunta doon yung mga group bookings namin. Pero for weddings, well, eventually magiging open din po kami kasi parang ang Driftwoods kasi parang more on DIY siya. So it's not very restricting like when you say, okay, gusto ko sa kawayan lang ako mag-set up ng mini picnic or mini wedding, garden wedding, ganun, gusto mo i-set up yun, pwede. Or gusto mo din sa open field na magdadala ka talaga ng tables and chairs, or yung sarili mo arco, ganun. It's very parang an open slate na you can think of anything. Parang, ang saya lang doon. Ewan ko. Ako nag-enjoy ako maging creative doon. Parang hindi ka maubusan ng gagawin sa sa
Sa
Driftwood.
area.
Talaga.
Oo,
Opo.
actually, sobrang ganda, sobrang hangin kung gusto niyo mag-relax. Kung gusto pala nila
Yes.
pumunta, etong tanong ko, no, do they need to reserve or contact you first sa Facebook before they can enter? And then, normally, how much is the fee yung sa daytime at saka yung sa camping?
Okay, so with the pandemic is still rampant in the area in our country. Nag-stick na lang kami permanently sa policy of by reservation only. Kasi with regards to the space, what we have decided is if we do let walk-ins come in like influx kapag sumikat pa siya lalo, masisira po yung idea ng place being spacious. 'Di ba parang dinedefeat niya yung purpose na the park being spacious if we're going to let everyone in all at the same time. So mas okay po for us na by reservation kasi kumbaga for sa part na nagma-manage, meron kaming somewhat security in being able to remind the guests what to do and then what not to do also. Kaya maganda rin po yung by reservation and then we get to limit the slots. So example, actually may nagtanong dito sa live stream natin kung ilan yung ina-accept na guests at one time. So I answered it through the comments. I said around 50 to 80 persons at a time. So medyo madami na din yun.
Madami na yun, oo.
Pero pag tiningnan niyo siya sa field, layo-layo pa rin. It's so odd. I mean,
ilang hectares ba yung ngayon yung developed, yung open space yung ngayon? Di ba
yes, almost 8 hectares po yung park mismo and then fenced po siya. It's a very wide space just for maybe 10 people. I think di pa sila magkikita-kita sa sobrang laki ng place. Pero yun, even if yun nga po may space kami, yun by reservation pa rin kasi I think from what you've observed from our past bookings last year, sabi nila maganda na to. Wag mo nang baguhin yung pagiging spacious niya. This is the way it should be. It shouldn't be overcrowded. It shouldn't be rowdy, So ang na-attract naming mga clients is basically everyone pero more on the people who are keen on just being together but also being outside. Yun.
So that's actually ideal for family, friends.
Yes.
And siguro yung team building ba? Do you still accept team buildings?
Sa ngayon may nag-i-inquire na po. Before, I think di talaga po kasi allowed. And especially with the restrictions, they do keep changing kaya people tend to just postpone their activities into just naging Zoom na lang din yung team building nila. I don't know. Pero recently may nag-inquire youth camp. Yun, pwede sila sa weekdays para walang tao talaga masyado.
Okay. So, nung nakita kita, actually, nagulat ako because you're very young. Yan yung tanong ko sa'yo. So, di ba nung nagkukwentuhan tayo, ang tanong ko,
Yes po.
because some people, especially at your age, they love to be in the corporate world.
Mm.
Tapos nagkwentuhan tayo, sabi mo nga, you used to work at yung buhay mo is iba din, medyo related sa ginagawa mo. Is it
Opo.
hard to manage a family business?
Yes, it is very hard. I don't wanna go sugarcoating that. Kasi when you're with the family, everyone has different ideals. Some people wanna be very, very formal. Kumbaga, when you're in a group of friends, parang ganun din. Except when you have parents, syempre, they have to be the ones to approve. So, it can be challenging because sometimes I want to do something na medyo too extreme for them, maybe too challenging for them. They tend to, um, you know, not be keen on approving it right away. Pero eventually, like yung cafe nga po, they really didn't want to have a cafe because they felt like it was a liability at the time. And then when I pitched it to them, I shared it to them na, it doesn't have to be a crazy sobra social na dish. It just has to be a homemade dish na a comfort food na anyone can be comfortable in eating. And then, yun yung naging menu namin. So, anything na nasa menu are things na proven namin na masarap siya and homemade. It's really made with the heart and nothing pretentious. Like, they're all like, kung big service siya, that's it. Hindi kami, we're very truthful with our dishes. So, mahirap din po. Tagal ko rin po
Lutong bahay.
dinefend. Opo, tagal ko rin po dinefend yung cafe niya. Kasi I said, I think mas maganda maging breakfast spot yung Driftwoods. People would wanna go, just wanna be outside. Parang, yung tapsihan niya sumisikat, di ba po? So, paano pa yung cafe na nasa loob ng park na sobrang dami mong pwedeng gawin? So, yun, eventually, when I spearheaded the idea, I introduced them designs and listed the menu na pwede namin gawin. Yun, they were able to see the light in it and then which made me appreciate them more kasi kumbaga they're very careful because it's for a good reason naman. Hindi naman para ma-ruin yung business but more on to tread it lightly. Hindi yung mag-jump agad tas, it would come crashing down. So that's what I'm proud of with my parents. Kahit they're very conservative din.
Gusto ko yung sagot mo kasi
Yes.
maganda yun. But what really convinced you to, quit your corporate job and help the family?
I think kasi I grew to appreciate it because meron po kasi akong personality na I get frustrated when things aren't done the right way. Parang I think it would be more appropriate. Parang ganun po eh. I think it would be appropriate na gawin natin ganito kasi magiging beneficial siya sa ganito. Parang kino-correct ko yung things na they were presented differently na mas ma-appreciate na iba. Kasi po ako eh, ang background ko talaga is events and marketing. Marketing pa yung naging mas bigger part ko kasi I took up a course, a diploma for marketing. I grew to love marketing and then I found that the heart of a business is really marketing. Kumbaga, product development, business development, they're all really just working around that. Tapos ang ginawa pa naming paper nung last naming paper for my diploma was a marketing program for Driftwoods. So parang I was really forced to okay, so I have to think about this. Now I have to think about what to do with this, ganyan. Tas yun, eventually na-motivate din ako kasi, in a corporate setting kasi, marami kasing restrictions and then marami pong processes na you can't really do in a business kung kayo naman po yung naghahawak. So, pero if you're an employee, there are restrictions. Sometimes if people don't like you, things didn't really go your way. Pero when you're handling your own business, you're guiding it. Parang you know how to take the further steps. Kumbaga, I found it to be more creative and yung pagiging part ng creative industry ko, parang rin siya, parang na-touch din siya. Kasi, kumbaga, okay, I can design. I am now open to designing our materials. I'm open to talking about the park. Like this, these are marketing, mga opportunities. So, natutuwa ako. I found joy in being able to manage this with the family and, uh, eventually leading us to success. I'm proud of that. Yun yung
Oo,
nakamotivate sa akin.
natutuwa ako sa sobrang open ka, and luckily yung mga nami-meet ko din ng mga young ones who are managing their businesses and family
Yes.
businesses, nakakagulat na iba na mag-isip, which is ako sobrang tuwa. Anong natutunan mo? Ilang years ka na nagma-manage pala ng Driftwood? And what have you learned? Ano yung top 3 lessons na natutunan mo sa pagma-manage ng business na Driftwood?
Okay. So, nag-start lang po ako actually mag-manage talaga ng Driftwoods when ng pandemic talaga. Kasi previously, there were projects that weren't really coming into fruition. So, I decided to try to do something else. So, I went into managing other communities, like yung sa esports nga po, like yung mga gaming. And then, eventually, ng pandemic, I went back into, I spent more time with family. So, parang dun ko na-realize na the park needs more appreciation. And then, yung siguro natutunan ko, top 3 things would be, one of them would be really time management. Kasi, time is money. Anything na malate, konti, the customers already perceive it differently. So, there are things na kailangan mag-change. And then, also, more on yung real-time PR management. Kasi, when you're up close with the client, they ask so many things because they are curious about the place. Not because they don't like the place, but because they don't know anything about it. And I think isa pa yun sa naging parang inspiration ko to be more creative and be more parang informative. Kasi if people don't know about the park, this is the opportunity of social media to step in and become kind of the bridge of the gap, since more people are more online, 'di ba po? Kasi wala naman po ibang gagawin. TV is parang something, almost a thing of a past na, more on Netflix na and Facebook.
Yes.
Yes, live streams. Yun po, and what else? Financial management din po, kasi the park requires a lot of liability, kasi just maintaining the park. I think, I'm not sure if I mentioned to you when you visited, one of the biggest expenses is really just cutting the grass.
Oo.
Yeah,
How
there
often
were
do you cut the grass? Yung sa ano? Kasi ang
every
laki eh.
day. Every day.
Ah.
Every day. Kasi pag umulan, tutubo po uli siya, and you won't see the golf balls anymore. Ganun siya, tataas siya agad. Mabilis po siya tumubo. Pero ang maganda po kasi sa pagtubo ng grass is, it's really green, like evenly green. Diba? Ang ganda po tingnan. Pero pag drought, you'll really notice it, like more on lupa na siya. Kaya we're happy when it rains, and we're happy when we get to cut the grass, kasi it means the park will remain beautiful as it is. Pero everyday po talaga yan.
Kaya
Everyday
pala,
yun.
nako, na-imagine ko na kung gaano katagal at ilang tao yung gumagawa doon.
Nako po, sobrang, believe it or not, there are actually just 2 people who do it. My
Wow.
dad, and then Kuya Rene, which is the one of our caretakers na property. Kasi everyday naman. Kaya yun, pagpapasok po kayo yung main field, na padaanan na yun, pantay na
Mm.
pantay na
Oo.
golf course. Pero those are really like blood, sweat, and tears.
I have 3 last questions, no?
Sure.
Kasi sabi mo, ang ganda ng natututunan mo sa parents mo, especially 'di ba kapag meron
Yes.
kang pinipitch na additional or gusto mong gawin doon.
Opo.
Anong message mo sa parents mo with the guidance that they're giving you sa pagma-manage ng business?
Okay. So, yung message ko sa kanila is, siguro, kasi in the past, I was really somewhat of a closed-minded person, because I thought that what I've learned in school can immediately be applied into the real world, which is hindi. So, ang biggest thing na natutunan ko talaga sa, which I'm very much thankful, is they are the real deal when it comes to business. They have gone through anything and everything under the sun. They've tried to sell properties kahit walang nag-aabot ng flyers. They've really been through everything. Kaya anything na natutunan ko sa kanila when we work together on ideas, I'm thankful when they agree. And when they disagree, I try to find a way to understand. Kasi doon ako natututo. Doon ko nare-realize na, okay, maybe there's a reason ba't hindi 'to puwede kasi it's too large scale or it's too expensive of a project, gano'n. I try to think in their shoes kahit hindi ko alam kung paano 'yun. Kasi ano sila, sobrang professional nila. They're my dad's a lawyer, my mom's a business manager, former DOT officer. Grabe sila, sobrang ano yun, hindi ko sila ma-reach pero parents ko sila. Pero yun, I just wanna say I'm very, very proud to be their daughter, their only daughter na kahit papaano yun nga natataguyod natin 'tong, ah, na-investan niyo ng sobrang tagal na panahon.
Oo. Actually, nung nakita ko yung bakod pa lang, sabi ko, wow. Alam mo kasi sobrang laki at alam kong, naku, talagang pinagpaguran nyo yung pagpapalagay ng
Yes.
bakod ng driftwood. Um, Maraming katulad mo, no? Yung sister ko, yung isang tumutulong sa mom ko sa business.
Hmm,
Nung una may resistance din siya. Kasi ayaw
opo,
niya. Oh, normal yan eh. Ako
opo.
ayoko talaga kasi hindi yan yung mundo ko, yung negosyo ng nanay ko. Ang tanong ko sa'yo, anong pwede mong i-advise doon sa mga children na ng mga, alam mo yun, merong mga stable businesses na pinipilit or kinukumbinsi nila ng parents to help them in their business?
Okay, so I think there are a lot of kids that are like me, although I'm not a kid anymore, pero who are going through the same thing as me. And I've met a few, I've been close with them, and ang thing na I could say to them is to appreciate first. Appreciate first. Kasi, kumbaga, our parents didn't really work hard for this long of a time. They didn't grow to be 60 years old just to just to say na pinapilit lang nila na ipasa 'to sa inyo. Kumbaga, the reason why they built this business, kung ano mang business 'yan, kahit tungkol pa 'yan sa, mini grocery or a cafe or, or a golf course, ganun, it's really because they're thinking about the future of their kids.
Mm.
And eventually, they will learn something from them and, may mapulot man sila kung gusto man nila i-manage yun or hindi. But it's not because gusto nilang pilitin yung kids nilang i-manage yun, but because they're thinking of their future as well. And for them to also be successful and be self-made na hindi sobrang inaasas din sa ibang tao. Kasi, like going back to the difference between being part of a corporate team and a sole proprietorship or a family business, you have more room to um, explore and learn from your own mistakes. Pero, there are pros and cons with that. Pero ang laki ng exposure and learnings na natutunan ko just from managing a business and just watching them manage it also. Kasi ako po, for more on parang marketing yata and para suggest lang ako kasi. Pero since they are parang gusto na lang mag-retire soon, they're like, "Oh, sige, ikaw na bahala diyan. May tiwala ako sa'yo," gano'n. So, yun yung eventually maririnig niyo na they're very proud of you because you managed the business, because you continued on the success. But it's not a bad thing. Appreciate first. Appreciate what they've done for us first before anything. Yun.
Maganda yung sinabi mo. Sana yung ibang mga nanunood, no, na magmamana rin ng negosyo, would have actually the same thinking din nung binanggit mo.
Yes.
Last na lang, anong pwede mong i-advise sa sarili mo as the one managing the business now?
Okay, so maybe something I could tell myself kasi I'm a person who also gives advice to other people. Sometimes I forget. I have to think about myself too. That's a good question. Maybe parang just try to relax and enjoy the process. Kasi the pandemic isn't really going away very soon. Pero kumbaga time will walk it out, 'di ba? Parang I have so many projects in my mind. I want to apply them tomorrow na ganun. Pero, it's not the time. So I have to be patient. I have to trust the process, and then be open to learning more from my mistakes. Kahit there are already so many challenges that we will face. Kasi, we're part of the customer service industry. We'll meet so many people, so many different people. I don't want to say bad, pero just say different. But yeah, marami pang matututunan in the coming months and weeks and years. So yun, be patient.
Wow, that's very good. Oh, be patient. Tapos sabi
Yeah,
mo nga, oh. At marami pa, totoo yan. Marami pang padating.
tama
Oo,
po.
marami pang padating. So, ayun. Hindi ko talaga ma-open, but siguro I will just put the link later on, no?
Sige
Kamilla,
po.
medyo mabilis ang oras. Please invite everyone to visit Driftwood. And of course, your social media sites para doon sa mga makakapanood nito at nanunood. Saan sila pwedeng pumunta at mag-reserve.
Okay. So hi to our kanina 12 yung viewers natin na nakakatuwa, ang dami. I actually invited all my relatives and friends to come and support the page as well. So, hi
Thank
guys.
you.
To everyone who is watching, who is interested in visiting Driftwood Sports Park, you can reach us on our Facebook page and Instagram. You can look for Driftwoods Action Park. You can easily find it kasi when you type Driftwoods, it's the only Driftwoods you'll ever find. So, it's gonna be very easy for you. And then if you want to visit, you just have to message us, let us know your date, the date that you want to visit, and then we'll let you know if it's available. And we'll be happy to assist you if you need anything.
Thank you so much. Alam mo, yung
Yeah.
minsan yung mga viewers natin, late manood, hindi talaga live. Yun ang napapansin namin from
Yes.
previous. So, mga kababayan, dun po sa lagi kong sinasabi sa mga makakapanood at magtatanong na naman kung paano ba mag-book at yung sa mga questions nyo, please watch this video. We will also upload this at our YouTube channel called Ang Pinoy Channel. Doon nyo po mapapanood yung footage ng Driftwood. It's actually under Indang. Yung
Yes.
feature namin sa Indang. So doon niyo po makikita kung gaano kaganda of course, ang Driftwood. And please don't forget to visit our portal. It's www.angpinoy.net. And thank you so much again. We will prepare a short article tomorrow. May mga pictures po doon. Nakuha na namin kay Kamilla. So please wait for it tomorrow. At maraming salamat ulit. Thank you, Kamilla.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you, Lisa.
night. Thank you.